A lot of people say, I don't understand how depression could be so bad that someone would actually take their life. And people really do. We hear about it all the time. They actually go through with it and you go, oh my gosh, they really did it. I was so haunted and in such pain that I decided that I was going to actually do that. And when you go from thinking about it to actually taking an action, it becomes a different ball game. I obviously didn't go through with it, but what happened for me was I simply panicked in the middle of the event, I guess you would call it, and ran in and called a suicide hotline, very scared, and that's what happened with that situation. I was 19 years old when I really experienced my first bout of very serious depression. I was kind of a, I guess, depressive, nervous kid, but it was really when I was 19, my first year in college, when I thought, there's something wrong here, and that was really my first experience with what I considered a pretty serious mental health issue at that point. I sought treatment when I was about 20. I decided at that point I was going to go and see a psychiatrist and see if I could kind of figure out what was going on. I started talking a little bit about it, but I really didn't really open up because I was afraid of what was going on. I didn't want to talk about it. And so for me, in the very beginning, talk therapy really didn't do the trick. It wasn't really very helpful. My diagnosis was major clinical depression, and I felt that it was probably a correct diagnosis, but the mystery of really how bad it became was something I didn't understand right away. So the diagnosis was, while it was clinical depression and diagnosable as that, I still didn't understand how it had gotten so severe beyond just a simple diagnosis of having depression. A lot of times you can put your finger on it and say, oh, I'm going through depression because of that, but when it goes on, like for example, when you can't describe what you're going through, it's like being followed around by a ghost who's toying with you or trying to hurt you, you know. I had to make eye contact and I had to have a confrontation, and by that I mean I had to look at it. You can avoid things if you want in your life. It's easy to move around things, but they're not going to go away. And for me, I had to stop everything. I literally was not in school. I wasn't working or anything. And I had to look right at it and say, if I'm going to live, and I'm going to live happily, or at least a content person, I have to look right at it, and I had to make eye contact with it. And make eye contact is a big theme for me in all of this. I had to look at it to deal with it.
I don't know how many times I've heard this over my 20-year battle with depression. Just snap out of it, you know. Can you imagine saying that to somebody in a diabetic coma or something? Hey, snap out of it, hey! Hey, look, believe me, if we could just snap out of these things, we would do that rather than live in misery. I don't choose depression. I don't wake up in the morning and say, I hope I feel like shit today.
I got into comedy because friends had always told me that I was kind of funny, and at first I didn't take it seriously because I thought everybody's friends think they're funny, you know. And they said, no, you can really do something funny, like stand-up or something. So I started doing open mic comedy in the 90s and started getting a little work, and it started picking up, and eventually I quit my job and went on the road. I started finding some things funny about mental health, and somebody said, and that was purely just in journaling about it. I hadn't planned on doing anything in mental health at all with comedy. I wanted to be very careful that I was not making fun of people individually or making fun of anything about mental health situations. So there is a fine line between what's funny and what is can kind of be mean-spirited. And so it's a tricky fine line. And I had to start writing things that way to make sure that I didn't do that, and that I'm laughing not only at myself, but the whole situation of how did we become these kind of people. You know, it's amazing thinking that this kind of work has given me a purpose in life, because it's counterintuitive really doing that kind of speaking about it, but it's given me a purpose in life, and it used to rob me of life. So it's really an amazing polar opposite, something that used to really almost kill me and just drain me and make it like, why is life like this? and it's now given me a purpose in life, is a testament to what humor can do. And that's a big testament to it. Now it's given me this reason to go on and not just survive, but to thrive. There's one thing to survive, but when you thrive and your work really makes you feel good and people go, this is really good what you're doing, and you can feel good about yourself, that's an amazing thing. That's an amazing realization to come to and say, this used to really rob me, and now, in a sense, it's giving me a life to live. The way I feel about my diagnosis today is I try to take it in stride. I try to realize that I've tried lots of different things and it's not completely gone. It's certainly much better than it was maybe 10, 15 years ago. But depression just seems to be a part of my physiology. It's just in my blood cells. It's just part of who I am. And it's beyond, everybody knows what it's like to have a bad day and life is crummy and you kind of feel down now and then, but that's not what it is at all. It's really a different extreme. So the way I feel about it today is it's just a part of who I am, and I have to take it in stride. And some days I go, what are you doing here? I don't want this. And I try to take it in stride and keep making eye contact with it and do the best I can with it, and hopefully make depression get a job by giving me material. You know, I got to make it work. So that's what I'm trying to do.